Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat, Shemakah, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us its truth. Shalom and salutations, all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. And the elder Yahshua back with a quick lesson, going into this small, tiny Cappadocia. Small Cappadocia. Let's get a couple of pre's on the way in. Let's get the Watchers, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the Watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And here is the proof. Who's in charge? Who's running this? The basest of men with that small Cappadocia. So this is Poetic Flacco. And we're just going to play this from the top. We're going to let him cook because he's breaking it down. These troglodytes are losing their power. And the only power they ever had was witchcraft, right? Let's get that real quick. Well, we'll get it afterwards. We'll let Flacco cook. Go ahead, Flacco.
Ben Shapiro has lost his mind. He's spiraling out of control. Candace Owens has this man literally in a psych ward in his own body. This is like really, really, really terrible. See, Ben Shapiro for the last, year and a half or 2 years have literally been harassing Candace Owens. So when he found out that Candace Owens was going to be debating Andrew Wilson, Ben Shapiro, much like Turning Point and other Candace Owens haters, were like rubbing their hands. Like, right? They thought, oh man, the world-class debater is about to end Candace Owens' career. He's about to debunk her, make her look crazy. And the opposite happened, right? Like Candace Owens came up on top. She was the victor. She embarrassed him. And this immense L, right, that they were anticipating, I could almost guarantee you Ben Shapiro already had a podcast planned for quote unquote when his world-class debater would have destroyed and embarrassed Candace Owens. They probably already had like a month-long media run that they was going to do on Candace Owens' feeling. But because that never happened, that got canceled, their plans got ruined, and now they're on YouTube literally coping. Like Ben Shapiro reacted to this debate, and you could just tell this man is seething deep down inside that he couldn't destroy Candace Owens, which is just weird, bro. Like I thought, like when they and took over like Candace Owens' YouTube page and her old Twitter that they own because she was signed to them, and they were trying to launch hit pieces under her YouTube and under her Twitter. I thought that was just weird and low blow, but this right here highlights a new level of just obsession that I don't think is healthy for anybody, bro. But Ben Shapiro needs help. Like this dude is
over and over again. A debate is the way to get to truth, and sometimes that's true. And sometimes watching a debate is like watching two idiots clock each other with pool noodles. On Friday morning, conspiratorial nutcase Candace Owens debated provocateur debate me bro Andrew Wilson over who killed Charlie Kirk. And everyone who watched is now significantly stupider. I'm going to go through some of the details in a second and what it means for debate culture more generally. This is the
simply. So, as you can see, Esau is losing anything that he ever had. Whenever they open their mouth, all they're doing is solidifying their downfall. So, listen.
The Ben Shapiro Show.
Flacco's going to tear him apart.
Debate is sometimes useful, and sometimes it's just not useful. It's just not. Now, there are two possible reasons for a debate to be useful.
Who won the debate? He's not going to say who won the debate. We all know that Candace dismantled the so-called white man. The so-called white man came out and used every bit of so-called white man tact. And it all failed. All in one fell swoop. It all went down in flames. And now they're all looking really, really bad But listen to how Flacco goes into the political assassination attempt that they tried to make, right, with this whole Charlie Kirk thing. See, Charlie Kirk is connected to this guy who is connected to Netanyahu, right, who is connected to the TPUSA, who was connected to the Republican Party, who was connected to Donald Trump, and connected to the powers that be, if you will. And what they were trying to do, that Flacco explained so well, they tried to elevate Charlie Kirk to the status of who they call Jesus Christ. And they did that to the point where if you tried to say anything bad it was about for a whole month right after he was killed, they tried to turn it into, if you said anything wrong, you would lose your job. You were about to be done away with on some Gestapo type shit, right? They tried to do that. Immediately after he was assassinated, they tried to do, what did they try to do? They tried to do what is coming. Okay? What is coming down the pike. They tried to say, if you say anything, one thing negative about the story we're putting forth here, we're coming after you to put you under the prison. They tried to implement that at that moment. And this is what is very, very, very important about this lesson. You have to understand the magnitude of what happened at that moment. And here's what the Most High did. Okay? The Most High somehow empowered Candace Owens to derail that whole play. That's what happened. And it's, when you look at the whole thing, Flacco is going to explain it. When you look at it, you understand how big that play was. That was a big old play, and you can see what Candace is doing and the momentum that she's being given right now. It thwarted that whole play that the deep state tried to play. Okay? The deep state tried to play to use Charlie Kirk as a messiah. They did that. And then Candace picked it all apart and derailed the whole thing damn near single-handedly. Right? That happened. So let me get this real quick. 2 Corinthians 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Okay. I'm going to let Flacco explain it. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. No, we know what is going on. Okay. Now listen to this guy. Where did we go? Let's go from the top. Yeah. It's very important. Let's see. Let's go from where Shapiro starts talking. Okay. Now what he's doing, he's given armchair Monday morning quarterback on the debate that Candace had, and she totally dismantled the troglodyte, and now they're all running. He cannot say that Candace won, so this is what he is going to say. Talk around.
With pool noodles. On Friday morning, conspiratorial nutcase Candace Owens debated provocateur debate me bro Andrew Wilson over who killed Charlie Kirk. And everyone who watched is now significantly stupider. I'm going to go through some of the details in a second and what it means for debate culture more generally. This is The Ben Shapiro Show. Debate is sometimes useful, and sometimes it's just not useful. It's just not. Now, there are two possible reasons for a debate to be useful. First, when you might convince the person you're debating, and second, when you might convince the audience. If neither one of those things is true, you're probably wasting your time. Well, I think it's fair to say a lot of people wasted their time last Friday, which is when there was a debate between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson over who killed Charlie Kirk. Now, moment of rare agreement. It's never going to happen again. Between me and true America-hating piece of crap, Hasan Piker. Not the attitude Hasan Piker is about to project, but what he says here about what Candace Owens has done to Charlie Kirk's memory and to his family.
Now he's about to play a snippet, and little does he know, he's defeating his own cause. I'm going to let it play. See if you can see.
Part's true. He's celebrating it because, of course, he's a piece of crap, but here's what Hasan Piker had to say about Candace Owens.
I can't speak out against this queen because this is a queen that successfully and single-handedly undermined the Republican initiative to martyrize Charlie Kirk and use that example to crack down on political dissent.
Okay, so this dude just won his seat, or whatever he's doing. He's stirring shit up. I don't think he won a seat yet, but he's stirring shit up. Everybody doesn't like Hasan. But anyway, he's speaking truth. Okay? And he's exposing right now what Candace did, right? Because they tried to elevate Charlie to that of Caesar Borgia, Jesus Christ, so that they can control everybody. Listen again, because this is very
Charlie
important.
Kirk. And everyone who watched is now significantly stupider. I'm going to go through some of the details in a second and what it means for debate culture more generally. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
Yeah, we have to stop debating altogether because nobody can beat Candace.
Debate is sometimes useful, and sometimes it's just not useful. It's just not. Now, there are two possible reasons for a debate to be useful. First, when you might convince the person you're debating, and second, when you might convince the audience. If neither one of those things is true, you're probably wasting your time. Well, I think it's fair to say a lot of people wasted their time last Friday, which is when there was a debate between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson over who killed Charlie Kirk. Now, moment of rare agreement. It's never going to happen again. Between me and true America-hating piece of crap, Hasan Piker. Not the attitude Hasan Piker is about to project, but what he says here about what Candace Owens has done to Charlie Kirk's memory and to his family. That part's true. He's celebrating it because, of course, he's a piece of crap, but here's what Hasan Piker had to say about Candace Owens.
I can't speak out against this queen because this is a queen that successfully and single-handedly undermined the Republican initiative to martyrize Charlie Kirk and use that example to crack down on political dissent. She dropped a grenade on the discourse. So I'm with her. It's hard. It's hard for me. My brain says, no, it's probably Tyler Robinson. But my heart says, go, Candace, go. Keep cooking.
Hasan is not wrong, by the way. I do want to clarify, right? Because Ben Shapiro is going to try to twist this. Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, what he's saying is, when Charlie Kirk passed away, the day that Charlie Kirk passed away, they were comparing Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King. They were comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus Christ. And I'm not joking.
Serious.
They were saying Charlie Kirk is Christ himself. Now, when you have that level of, for lack of a better word, all right, for clout, all right, when you got that level of sauce, man, Turning Point was being looked at as like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't even describe it because I've never experienced that in my life. Like I don't know what it felt like to be like, I don't know, like a member of MLK's church when he passed away, right? Like that much clout and devotion. I don't know. But when Charlie Kirk passed away, it felt like, Charlie Kirk was being exalted into like Christ-like status. And in turn, Turning Point was being exalted, right, to like the pedestal of society. Like, I think Turning Point got like over like 3,000 chapter and applications after Charlie Kirk passed.
All true. And then what happened? Then the Most High sent out the specter of what? Taking Turning Point down. The Drewski thing took Turning Point. It was things like that. Okay, so the spirit, right? Because Turning Point tried to make a takeover right there. They were trying to change the laws and the spirit of things, and they made a serious effort at it. But the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua thwarted that whole movement, right? Listen as he describes it in further.
That's the way of these colleges and these high schools trying to join in Turning Point in the fight against the violent leftists. So they were using Charlie Kirk's death to essentially weaponize against the left, weaponize against liberals, weaponize against Democrats, weaponize against moderates, weaponize against any and everyone who wasn't a far-right extremist. And Hassan is saying back up, yeah, you know what? Man, shout out to Candace Owens, man. She did a brilliant job, right, at exposing Turning Point, at exposing Erica Kirk, exposing Andrew, exposing the faults in that organization, and she took them off their pedestal. She made it, well, you know, and I don't want to bring Candace Owens any more backlash because they might use this and say, you see, we told you. But Candace Owens made it feasible for political discourse to still happen. After Charlie Kirk passed away, that was the end of political discourse, bruh. If you had the nerve to come out and have an objective opinion about Charlie Kirk, bruh, they were calling for you to be imprisoned. They were calling for you to be deported. They were calling for you to lose your job, homie.
Literally.
Candace Owens taking Turning Point off their pedestal now takes us back to the normal.
Okay, now what happened there? The Most High thwarted an attempt for this devil to make a big-ass move right there. That's what that whole thing was. Unless it's all part of a larger plan that Candace is involved in. But she did stop TPUSA from making that move that they did try to make. They tried to martyrize Charlie and what that was. How do we know that happened? Because who was behind it? Whoever was behind taking him out was behind. You can't say this. You can't say this. You can't say that. You understand? And that's where things are going. Okay? You can't say this. You can't say that. Let's get a scripture. What scripture says you can't say this, you can't say that? Let's see, OFF, ANDER 4. Offender 4, right? Isaiah 29:21. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside just for a thing or not. Now this is talking about the prophets, but anybody out there pushing the truth, right? Which is what? Well, Charlie Kirk, you can't be a martyr. You can't be Christ-like, motherfucker, if you talk about you hate when really the vibe you were pushing, you hate the tribe of Judah, right? Even though you got taghead Candace Owens on your side, or so it appears, but the Most High flipped Candace for a minute at least because she took down TPUSA, right? Because they came in trying to use that witchcraft, and somebody empowered Candace the witch to prevail in that situation.
Right? Now Charlie Kirk is a human again. Now it's a tragedy in how he passed away, but he's a human again. Now we could say, hey, I think Charlie Kirk was anti-American. Charlie Kirk was against the First Amendment. Charlie Kirk did not believe in freedom of religion. Charlie Kirk believed that Zohan Mamdani should not be the mayor because he's Muslim. I think we forgot that was Charlie Kirk's last controversial moment. Even Republicans, far right people were calling him out on it. Because that was just the most racist thing you could ever say.
That dude was a racist and a bigot and a fucking Klan piece of shit is what he was. Fuck you. That's what he was. As far as freedom of speech goes.
But we forget about that. So, no, I don't think Charlie Kirk was American. I think Charlie Kirk was anti-American. I don't think Charlie Kirk was a patriot. Charlie Kirk didn't love what this country stood for, which is freedom. So Ben Shapiro is saying, the Hassan celebrating that the temperature is being brought back down to normal and us all being able now to have a more freer political discourse. Ben is saying that's a bad thing for some reason because Candace Owens is like, is behind this. But ultimately, bruh, Ben Shapiro don't think that debate was a waste of time. He only thinks that right now because, his debate bro law.
Cooking, Does that make sense? I can't like her tweets because she blocked me many, many years ago. This is before she became our hero. Okay? Many, many years ago, Candace Owens blocked me. I've not been a fan of Candace Owens. I am a fan now. Well,
Here comes Judas. Judas gaining favor. Even old Candace, who ain't even one of us. Go, son.
Yeah, of course he is, because it turns out that Candace Owens has basically turned what would have been a referendum on radical trans rhetoric and what it means for America into a complete mess, a moral hazard, just a disaster area. So, of course, the Sun Piker is super happy. So, this debate was a 3+ hour debate, which basically was like walking through the halls of a psychotic ward. That's really what it was. And so we'll go through some of it and try to pull out what is
Esau lost. Are you saying that Esau didn't have the intellectual fortitude to take down a black woman? What happened? The dominant and superior Edomite wasn't able to easily subdue the inferior woman? Blah, 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 blah. No, he got dismantled summarily. And it was the whole thing was cringeworthy. The whole thing.
From it, but lots of people watched it, which is the reason we're commenting on it. Because again, people are now treating matters of truth as matters of entertainment, and this is the bigger message here, is that when a public begins to treat matters of baseline truth as matter...
Esau's foot done slipped. All you got is L's. Let's see how well you take them L's, buddy. All right, here come the curses. See how well you do with them on your back.
It's a pure entertainment, of pure just distraction. What you end up with is the worst form of political debate and the worst form of human behavior.
You're no authority of nothing. You're done. Your words mean nothing, boy. Okay? We all know what's going on. You're trying to save the ship. You're trying to right the ship. That mug is under.
Truly, it's bad, bad stuff. This thing has 1.5 million views on Patrick Bet-David's channel. PBD moderated this, by which we really mean that if you watch the thing, he basically sat in the center and looked as though he wanted to be anywhere else except in the middle of this mess. 4.3 million views on Candace's channel and another 500,000 or so on Wilson. So 6.5 million views on YouTube alone in the first couple of days here. And naturally, everyone who watched it came out with precisely the opinion they had before. Candace's followers are saying that she demolished Wilson.
She did.
And PBD's commenters pointed out how he really couldn't moderate because it was just a mess. And Andrew Wilson's fans are saying that he wrecked her. And both sides are now running clips claiming that their respective side won. None of this is useful. None of this. And what's more, there's a moral problem here. When you debate for money over the matter of whether a person who clearly murdered somebody, and whether the person...
Clearly murdered somebody. Okay, so you're taking the L. Esau is being exposed over in Mississippi real bad, right? He's being exposed. They're taking that big old L, taking the L right here. See a pattern? This is a big old Esau L. What's going on in Mississippi right now? The truth coming out. This is the truth coming out about this basest of men. This dude is the lowest of the low. Okay? That's a Fender Forward. Let me get Bassman. Bad Mr. Bassman. Funky on like an old batch, like an old bat. Getting funky on the mic, on the bass. Getting funky on the bass like the lowliest of people. Gives them the kingdoms to anyone he wishes and sets over them the lowliest of people, even the lowliest. The lowest of men, he sets over it. The bassist. You're a bassist, motherfucker. You play the double bass. And render unto her double bass. Sets over the lowest of men. That's you. Okay, and now wicked be revealed. Wicked be what? Wicked be revealed. The wicked is being revealed right now. You're no debater. You're a fucking masturbator. Second Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Some of that was on Candace because she destroyed, right? She was destroying with the truth. She's using the truth to make that dude, well, he can take anything that she says and try to use semantics to control this conversation, and lost with every word that came out of your mouth. It all backfired and was looking stupid. When being an asshole doesn't work, she dog walked the hell out of that boy, out of Esau. Look at Donald Trump. How stupid he's looking on the world stage right now. Okay. 2 Ezra 9:3. In the GNT, there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they're what God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. So it's clear to see what time we're in. All right, these troglodytes are.
Who's claiming that the true murderer might in fact be his wife, might in fact be his best friends, might in fact be people who surround him. What you are doing is granting the imprimatur of decency.
You're the true murderer and the father of your murder from the beginning, and the father of lies. You're a liar and the father of it. You're the anointed cherub that covereth the top of your head. Okay.
To a debate that is indecent.
Man, cut this nonsense, bruh. Yo, Turning Point literally gave Andrew Wilson evidence to make Candace Owens look dumb. No, bro, cut this nonsense out, bruh. Yo, Turning Point, and again, I'll be real with y'all. I'm not against the idea that Turning Point funded the $300,000 that Andrew Wilson used to draw Candace Owens in. I'm not against that, bro. I'm not against the idea that Turning Point gave Andrew Wilson $300,000 to give to Candace Owens so he could go and debate her. Because Andrew Wilson spent the last, 45 minutes to an hour talking about Erica Kirk. If Turning Point brought Andrew Wilson in, gave him never before seen Charlie Kirk text messages so he could make Candace Owens look stupid, how can you now say, oh no, this is immoral? The literal wife of Charlie Kirk armed Andrew Wilson with text messages and ammunition to go into this battle, aka debate, to debunk and destroy and end Candace Owens' career and kill it forever. So if Turning Point didn't think it was immoral, then who are you? Ben Shapiro don't think this is immoral. Listen, man, when Ben Shapiro was out here debating whether or not systematic oppression existed and whether or not black folks was treated badly in this country, nobody said, damn, bro, you out here debating whether or not George Zimmerman is guilty. Like, sir, are you crazy? Nobody said it was immoral when Ben Shapiro was doing 3-hour specials on how George Floyd deserved to die.
Esau is done.
Nobody thought it was immoral when Ben Shapiro did a 3-hour special all right, on how Derek Chauvin is innocent and he didn't kill George Floyd, even though we watched Derek Chauvin kneel on George Floyd for 12 minutes and murder him. Nobody thought it was immoral, huh?
Salakia. So, instead of beating that dead horse, let me, there's another thing that I watched, and it was actually really good. It looks like I'm being attacked here. Hope this doesn't go down. Let me see. See if I can find this. Salaki, bear with me. Let's see. It was. Somebody did a little thing on. Was it a thing on? Oh, We Woke. This is what it is. Let's check this out real quick because he's got just things strung together, and they're laughing. They're basically mocking Esau. This is We Woke now. Let me get it right here at the top. And they did this little thing. Okay, why? Okay, going into it. Why they will not debate Candace Owens.
Robinson being a patsy.
Okay, I just described that for you, so I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that. But I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that. But I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on.
So Candace, they're going to show excerpts of her dismantling Esau right now, right? Using the truth, right, the testimony, just the truth. Started again.
How this actually links in to Robinson being a patsy.
Okay, I just described that for you, so I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that. But I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that. But I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that.
Now what we're going to see is the devil being the devil and try to use slick words and semantics to get his way and bully Candace Owens in the intellectual department, right? And he's going to get dog walked, right? And they're going to highlight all this bunch of clips that highlight that. They will not, and not just that one dude who was dismantled, but watch what they're saying about this dude Shapiro, and how Shapiro went to the court to silence Candace while out in the public saying, well, she won't debate me. She won't debate, but put slap a muzzle on her.
So I'm bemused because I've been involved in a lot of contracts in my time. I've been an employer, I've been an employee, and so on. I don't understand why somebody from the Daily Wire can be so explicit about the reasons you left, and yet you are not able to be as explicit to defend yourself or to counter what they're saying.
Because they went to the court and slapped a muzzle on her while acting like that didn't happen, and she's just afraid to come and get him or to debate with him or whatever. You'll understand, but it has to be spelled out, kind of, all right? Going into what? Why they will not debate Candace Owens. So you got to understand how this devil works, right? Behind the scenes, he'll do some shit, and then he'll go out in the public and say the exact opposite of what he already has set up.
Amen, Pierce. Amen. I think that is probably a question that was on a lot of people's minds. And, what can I say other than what was it that Kanye was saying about contracts? And, I think it is, even if you believe that it is valid for that to happen, I think it is immoral to allow someone to attack someone and to not allow them to defend their name.
She's under gag. She's under gag is what she was saying.
Fiber is stuck because the muscles that move it are paralyzed.
And the reason why she was afraid at the time of what they would do.
Daily Wire issued gag order against Candace Owens during public debate negotiations, right? Okay, so let me read this story because, I'm sure you have great feedback to give to both sides on this. So conservative news and commentary outlet The Daily Wire has reportedly obtained gag order against former podcast host Candace Owens. The news reported allegations alleges despite company co-founder Ben Shapiro claiming that he wanted a debater on the Israel-Palestine issue, Owens' 3-year stint at the Daily Wire ended in March following months of tensions between the professional provocateur and her fellow network personalities. The subject of the Israel-Hamas Hamas was proved to be particularly divisive issue for Owens and Shapiro. Owens has taken a
What do we see here? Whether you see it or not, that's Jacob versus Esau. Is it not? That's Amalek right there. Shapiro. And Owens, that's Eve. As much as I wanted her to be a tear, she's just diabolical Eve. She's that good. She's a witch of the highest caliber.
firm stance against it, American involvement in foreign wars, including the one in Gaza. Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew, has criticized other Republicans for their declining support for both Israel and Ukraine, stressing America's national security interests in both conflicts.
Immediately after, Candace Owens went to Twitter and said, I'd like to have a debate with Ben Shapiro about Israel. The Daily Wire ran into an arbitration proceeding and requested that an arbitrator put a gag order on Candace Owens and order her blocked, banned from criticizing the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro in any way. And none of this was disclosed by the Daily Wire. They had led their audience to believe that they actually wanted a debate with Candace Owens. And yet at the same time, in secret, they were arguing to the arbitrator that the way in which Candace Owens asked for this debate, the expressions of criticism she had voiced about Ben Shapiro, the fact that she had liked multiple tweets that were criticizing Ben Shapiro in the Daily Wire meant that Candace Owens, by negotiating and asking for this debate, had in fact engaged in disparagement of the Daily Wire.
Surely you're turning of things upside down.
In a way that violated her contract, and they therefore convinced an arbitrator in secret that they were likely to win if they sued Candace Owens for breach of contract, and the only remedy possible would be to gag Candace Owens from talking about the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro in any way critically.
What do you think about that?
Okay,
Listen.
I like it. I'll tell you what, I like the move. This is a very smart move by the Daily Wire. You got to remember, it's not Ben Shapiro anymore. He made his decision. Organizations protect themselves. And when they have a contract with you, they will immediately do this. Now, Glenn, the truth is enough. Glenn doesn't have to say they went in secret. The arbitration is what it is. You know what I mean? It's in your contract. So it's not like they're sneaking around. But, so, he doesn't need that drama to it. But the reality is, you're saying one thing to me, but now you got your boys exercising a right on my contract. And you have to look at the reason why, okay? The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate.
Oh. What? What's that? Who's smarter than who? Who's stronger than who? Who has no wisdom? Even a woman.
Have to look at the reason why, okay? The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
That's just, see? So what is that? Okay? One shall be stronger than the other. This is Esau. Let's get this. Where are we going? What do we see happening in that debate? Genesis. What? 2:5 what? Is it in 25? The foot and the heel thing? Candace is pulling down 25 and 25. Started 24. I haven't done this in a while. Genesis 24. Genesis 25 and 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel. Candace has taken hold on that troglodyte's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. What does that mean? Okay. Let's go get it. It means this. 2nd Ezra 6 and 10. Is it 10? The hand of a man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra, ask thou not. Oh, Salakia. Let me start at 8. Second Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac with Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the hand of Esau. 4. Why was Candace holding on to Esau's heel? For Esau is the end, because she's shown the end of this troglodyte. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this, what we see Candace doing, pulling this fool down in everybody's face and making a monkey out of it.
Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
And what did they make up? Well, in my opinion, kind of whatever lined the pockets. And I think it's ghoulish to profit off of the death of a good man.
But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder. Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friends, and she continues to concoct new ones about new people. She's using these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country.
Salakia. Salakia. Let me get rid of this. I want to show you something real quick, okay, to show you where this thing is going. The whole of TP USA, right? Let's go. The whole of it. Right? The whole of it is witchcraft, okay? The whole of it, top down. You understand? Now, let's get a little bit of that. Now, with that being said, right?
A statement against Satan saying, you can take my husband.
Okay, so this whole organization, we already know what it is. This is all witchcraft, right? Now, what does the scripture say? Out of, let's see, WITCH, out. Cut off witchcraft. Cut off witchcraft. We're in this time right now. So the whole Charlie Kirk thing failed. Why? Micah 5:12, I will destroy your witchcraft and you will no longer cast spells. I will cut off sorcery from you, and you shall have no more tellers of fortunes. Your power is gone. Your witchcraft doesn't work anymore. Okay? All right? Back to, and understand that this whole thing was satanic. The Most High did what? He cut off the power of the witchcraft, and now what? You got this other witch, Candace, who's being used to defeat that other thing.
That audacity.
Because they're really on the same side. That's a little civil war going on right there.
Applaud it. You do. You have to applaud it. These, excuse me here, but like, I'm trying not to swear.
As you signal with your hand.
These men, okay, this company, these amazing lads over here
these white boys
had the audacity to accuse me of enriching myself when they were out there selling T-shirts, okay, of what Charlie died in to enrich themselves.
They were out there being the devil without abandon.
Giving those T-shirts away for free at the Staples Centers. No, they were selling kits of what Charlie died in to the tune of $80 million+ that they made in the first 3
It was a ritual, satanic ritual. Here, put this on. It's the same thing. That this nigga-
Okay, they made their entire budget for the year in the first couple of weeks following Charlie's assassination, and they are attacking me with zero proof that I've made a single dollar off of Charlie's assassination. I did not sell a cup. I did not sell a mug. Okay, all I did was do what I already do for a living. Okay, I podcast and I investigate things. I investigate things that I feel passionate about. Sometimes it's Kamala's genealogy, when she's saying she wants to be the president and things aren't making sense, and I sense that she is lying. Sometimes it's Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds when they try to destroy a man's life who's not even on my quote-unquote political team. Sometimes it's Brigitte and why we are colluding with nations to cover the obvious fact that Brigitte was born a male. And this time, it's personal, and it's you. Do you want to know what all of these investigations have in common? Liars who lie and think that the public is too stupid to see through their lies.
Witchcraft doesn't work anymore. Now we can see right through TP USA and see exactly what she puts up the Baphomet. We know what that means. 20 years ago, only 2 people knew. Now, 20 people.
That is how we got into this. Okay? I did not sell anything. You did that. You guys did that. You guys continued to do that. You guys wanted to just move on and to grift off of Charlie's legacy.
So this clip is just her just taking them, dismantling them, showing where, they're trying to make her the bad guy, but really they're the devil.
I dedicated myself to figuring out who murdered him.
I'm going to play a little more. That's what it looks like on the carry route.
And what did they make up? Well, in my opinion, kind of whatever lined the pockets. And I think it's ghoulish to profit off of the death of a good man.
But I would say that, like I said at the start of this interview, I don't know whether any of the things you're saying are true or not. I just do know you're saying a huge amount of stuff. It's making you very wealthy. You're getting millions and millions of people coming in, which by the way...
what is this idea that it's making me very wealthy?
Which is
Can you
fine.
actually explain that slowly?
Yes, I'm going to
people?
explain it to you slowly, because I had a huge run-in, for example...
This is just like a talking point.
No, I'm going to explain exactly what I mean.
The witchcraft don't work. She's going to cut it in half and make this troglodyte look like an idiot.
When Sandy Hook happened and Alex Jones began weaponizing the Sandy Hook tragedy.
What he's doing is he's threatening her right now. He's saying, look, if you don't shut up, we're going to Alex Jones you. What he's doing right now. And she's like, look, that witchcraft don't work on me. I'm going to say what the fuck I want to anyway. That's the time we're in right now. Whereas this gatekeeper is trying to check her. She comes back, overrides him, makes him look like a clown, and exposing the witchcraft. So why are they letting her do this? That's the question I have. Why are they allowing her to do that? The Most High got her right now. Dismantling this devil. That's what I see.
And weaponizing the grief of the poor parents who'd lost their children. And I began to attack him in public. And then eventually there was a court case, and it turned out he'd been spewing deliberate lies, and that every time he spewed them, they found he made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in the immediate aftermath of spewing the repeated lies that it was all staged and the families were actors and so on, which he knew to be lies. And he made himself extremely rich and ended up with $1 billion defamation finding against him because he'd been deliberately weaponizing people's grief. And the charge...
Yeah, I'm asking you to explain the actual financial metrics. How was he making money?
I'm explaining to you the analogy, which is there are, as you know, right now, a lot of people, from Tim Pool to the New York Post to others, who've come out very stridently in the last week, and say that's exactly what you've been doing with Erica Kirk.
Yeah, but you haven't answered the question. So this is just made up. As I said, this is just all fluff. You're suggesting that I'm making money. Did I sign a new advertiser? Are we reading more ads? Do we put this somewhere else? Do we sign
the more
a book
views
deal
you get on YouTube, the more money
did
you
I
make.
sell a T-shirt? Okay, but come on now, Pierce. money on YouTube. Are you kidding me? I was already in a top 10 podcast globally before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And if you think that I would want my friend to be assassinated so I could go from being in the top 5 to being number 1, you're out of your mind.
No,
Okay,
I'm telling
and it's
you,
also
I'm
so
telling you,
disrespectful.
I'm telling you.
But like the point is that everyone who is saying that I'm making more money cannot say how I'm making more money because it's just not true. Okay, so you're like, oh, she got a bump in viewership talking about
your
Charlie.
YouTube
as did
numbers
everyone in the world because it was a public assassination. And then it went up in the weeks following, and it went back to normal.
Candice, are your YouTube numbers up since you've been doing the Charlie Kirk investigations?
What I am saying to you is that this is the exact same argument you guys had about Brigitte. So it can't, and then the same exact same
but I think you were
argument
lying about Brigitte.
about the Blake Lively thing. Okay, but like, what about the Blake Lively thing? So you can't keep saying that, oh, she's always in the top 10 because she's talking about something. Or this is my podcast and it's me. It's just me. People enjoy my podcast because I don't treat them like they're idiots. I don't treat them like they should accept that Brigitte Crone just can't present one photo of herself raising her kids across 30 years. It's just too much to ask. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. How dare you? It's such an intrusion of privacy. She'd rather file a transatlantic lawsuit than to just produce photos and put all of this to bed. That's the difference between you and I. So now there's this repeat lie from Kamala Chronicles, which we did, looking into Kamala's background because it was relevant to the election cycle. Then we did the Blake Lively lawsuit, and they said, oh, she's trying to change her brand. That's the only reason her numbers are up. Then we went to Brigitte, which I lost, by the way. I had to get a whole career change when I first covered that story. So joke's on me if I'm doing this to make money, but I was willing to be fired to tell the truth. And then it's all about Brigitte. And now we've arrived at Charlie Kirk. I feel like there's something about that actually is just people not being willing to admit that what people appreciate about me and why they keep coming back is that I'm willing to take risks to tell the truth.
No, I think don't get me wrong.
I was already sold out on ads at the end of the.
She destroyed Pierce right now, and he's backpedaling and trying to come out looking okay.
Because our podcast was successful. Yeah, I have not sold a T-shirt, nothing with his name on it. It's just me.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
I don't understand why somebody from the Daily Wire can be so explicit about the reasons you left, and yet you are not able to be as explicit to defend yourself or to counter what they're saying.